have the two main men of Fallujah with me. How are you guys? Oh, actually, no, Scott, the judge.
The judge. I've been named the judge of this tour, and sorry I have an opinion on things. But if you don't brush your teeth, I'm going to call you out. Yeah, wash your body on tour. You have to share a space with everybody, so I will judge you. Change your shirt once.
Change your shirt. I'm only here for a few minutes, man. So let's talk about the new album. What was it like writing the record? Obviously, it's a pretty big departure from the sound, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it still has the same soul of how we wrote the other albums, you know, like the process that we took. But now I think we have new options as far as sound. Obviously, his vocals, to me, has a huge range of things he could do. And for me, that was like exciting. I was creating parts that would showcase that range that he has. And then also, I think we were really trying to focus on having our best possible mix. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you focus more on making the craziest riffs or trying to incorporate all these elements that you like conceptually thought of, you're like, man, it'd be really cool to have this in the song, and you kind of like push the song to have that. The mix suffers, right? Because it's some of those goals aren't really realistic. So
what about for you? What was it like, you know, kind of joining the fold of Fallujah?
Well, so we go back like decade at least. Yes. I mean, anytime Fallujah was in the studio, I was probably right there with them. Like, hanging out, like, just being like an objective, like, critique or, you know, have a kind of an outside ear.
Okay.
So this was just super easy going in. I mean, it was, it was great for me just because I get to work with like some of my closest friends.
As a group, there wasn't any tension as far as what we wanted to do, you know what I mean? Where in other albums there has been tension, you know, where, because especially on the earlier albums, there's so many different directions you can go. You can go more brutal or more technical or more singing or more this and that. So, you know, there's a little bit of, no, we should do this, no, we should do this. And this time it's like we clearly knew what we wanted to do.
You talk about the sound, and I feel that the sound has matured, but it's less, not less technical, but it's more kind of like, you know, riff focused, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, the phrase we were trying to keep saying to ourselves is like, no frill, all kill, right? You know, like I wanted every song to be
a banger.
Yeah, a banger, something that was important, you know, something that will resonate differently than the other songs, you know what I mean? So like each song, it wasn't like we had a big giant folder full of riffs and we're working on a song and we need to keep going, let's pull a riff out of the riff folder. It was like each song we just wrote for that song. I think that's what we focus more on, the sound and the vibe, and if the part called for a riff because we needed to pick up the intensity, then that's when we would put in the riff. Because I mean, there's definitely riffs all over the album, but it's not all gratuitous. Yeah. If you're on 10 the whole time, it doesn't really, like, there's no contrast, really.
Yeah, it's like reading the room.
Yeah, and Fallujah's all about contrast, going from the soft to the heavy and then back down to the soft, so it's kind of like a journey, really.
So, in terms of Undying Light, like the title, is that kind of like a reference to this sort of new beginning of you guys?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, we're not done. We have a burning passion, I guess, to keep doing this and making music, and we're all really excited about this record, and it just fit for us and the lyrical themes that were going on in the album.
What would you say is kind of like the best representation of what this record as a whole is in one track?
Oh, that's so hard.
That's hard.
Yeah, I don't think we could do that because we wanted the whole record to be, you know, a cohesive piece.
Is the statement.
It's the whole record, because, you know, we have like our aggressive song, we have a more heavy atmospheric song, we have a more going back to the Harvest Moon's Flesh Prevails where it's riff heavy. Everybody had a different group of songs that they felt strongly about. So, and that was the idea. We wanted to kind of make 10 songs that could each stand on their own.
Yeah.
You know, Dopamine, the mix on that is amazing. You know, Sanctuary, that's going to get all the technical fans excited, right? Ultraviolet, we picked that as our first single because I thought it had a good balance between all the different elements. But it was still
Still a hard choice.
The single could have been many different songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say the album as a whole is the statement.
And are you guys kind of not surprised, but like, what do you think of the feedback that you've had from the single so far?
Well, it's definitely mixed, and I wonder if a lot of it has to do with just the nostalgic feeling of the other records. You know, you're changing stuff on people, and they're like, "No, my Fallujah," but
That's like the metalhead thing to do.
yeah, but this is Fallujah. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have gotten the second or third record if we didn't do what we want to do. So
I mean, I think it would be like a disservice to people if we were just gonna put out the last record again.
Yeah.
You know, like I know all of us are on the same page as far as every step we take as a band. Just like we want to better ourselves.
Finally, what would you say is kind of something you've taken away from this album about yourself? You know, in the writing process, in the creative process.
I mean, I know for me, it's like I didn't know how this was all gonna. I mean, I had a good idea that it was gonna work out, but like you never know until you're actually in it. And for me, the takeaway is like wow, like yeah, we can do this for sure, and we can continue to put out quality stuff.
over the years, we realized the best thing is just to be yourself and to do what you love and make the music you love. You end up in a better situation that way. You know what I mean? You want to put out music for other people and then end up having to tour on that music for years and end up making choices for other people, you know, because it's all from us and this is what we wanted to do. It feels good every time we play it.
Thank you so much for having a chat. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, dude.
Always good time.